The money printing gives a short-time fake prosperity, and then comes the hyperinflation and misery. The US dollar has long been the world's #1 denomination in the world currency supply. It represents 62% of total holdings in foreign exchange in central banks around the world. But, it is in for a tough race from strong up-and-coming currencies. The Japanese yen and the Chinese yuan are both giving the Americans a good run for their money. The Swiss franc is too surprisingly. There is $6 trillion in foreign exchange holdings around the world at any given time. On average, and the US dollar represents almost 2/3 of that. The dollar as we know it went belly up in 1971. It has been a dead currency walking ever since. All monopolies are bad. A US dollar monopoly is also in that category. The power that comes with a monopoly, hegemony, is usually abused, and then the abused people rebel and create a war. The powers that be, those who control the flow and value of currency, the International Monetary Fund and the central banks, see the imminent demise of the dollar and are positioning to implement a collapse of the world economy so that they can trot out their one world global digital cryptocurrency that they will have total control of. They will cause the collapse through quantitative tightening and increasing interest rates, which will have a catastrophic impact not only on the US economy but also the world's as well. This will be blamed on failed economic policies, additionally setting the stage for the banksters' wet dream of a one-world digital currency. US dollar does not need to collapse. Only to devalue massively against gold. Then a multipolar currency world could emerge with free-floating fiat currencies. No reserve currency, only reserve asset, gold. Multiple bilateral swaps can be easily arranged to facilitate commerce between countries. Currencies would devalue or revalue locally against gold, with international arbitrage as a balancing tool. Easy as pie. Viable. Tools in place. Oh, US dollar purchasing power would go down the drain. And also US exorbitant privilege and military bases offshore. US would still be huge global player, but under same rules as everybody else. Nobody can rebel against the banksters. Saddam Hussein tried and failed and his nation was destroyed. Ghadafi tried, was killed and his nation was destroyed. China tries and trade war, media attacks, civil unrest ensue. It's all about the Benjamins. Those in power, control of the US dollar are the worst kind of criminal mafia, using government assets to keep that power structure and position safe. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. You are here for your daily dose of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please take a second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to also hit the notification bell. Thank you. Money has become worthless. Paying or not paying, it doesn't matter anymore. No consequences. Need money? Oh well, we just create a few trillions more. There are no consequences to this anyway. This has gone on for so long now and to such an extent that I think the fabric of society has been permanently damaged. We are not talking about a couple of weeks of emergency support here. People have now been programmed in their brains that wealth can be created out of nothing. They won't let that be taken away from them now. So what is the point of working? Why be prudent and responsible? The key to increasing wealth is not working your butts off and saving, but to receive handouts, rake up debt, that gets devalued, own Bitcoin, stocks, houses, which doesn't do anything for society or economy. Working and producing anything of value is for suckers. The beauty of the con is that dollars created from thin air are the same as dollars earned by the minimum wage worker. Boy, are people stupid. By the way, it will be $10 billion, then $100 billion, then $1 trillion. As the serfs celebrate their Biden dollars. Then the currency will change to digital dollars and the largesse will be distributed by eyedropper to the woke. Government creates a piece of paper that Fed buys by printing out trillions. Now Fed exchanges same piece of garbage for the trillions they printed. All these transactions so primarily dealers aka bankers can get a fee by pretending to participate in the action. At this point, why doesn't government cut out the middleman and go directly to the Fed and end this kabuki theater? The key point to always remember is that we are not bailing out the taxpayers or the renters, etc. What we are doing is bailing out the wealthy landlords and wealthy creditors who will actually get the money that the government pays these individuals. Other more direct aid could be targeted to only helping the suffering families. It is not. Enabling cheap, fast and hassle-free bankruptcy relief for persons who have gotten into huge debts due to the pandemic would not have imposes a ginormous additional multi-trillion-dollar debt on the government but would have cleaned out the outstanding debts, to the detriment of the trillionaires and billionaires. That is what we should have done, since the trillionaires and billionaires have not paid US taxes for decades. Apple avoided $40 billion in taxes. Now it wants a gold star? This aid is like what happened between Germany and Greece. Germany used the ECB and pretended to bail out the Greeks, but the German government was actually acting to protect German banks, i.e., German billionaires, who had lent billions to the Greek government, which got bribes to buy garbage submarines, build gigantic, Olympic facilities with German companies, etc. The Chinese themselves have created no secret of their discontent with the large cash printing by the US that's threatening to diminish their huge holdings. They're presently on a vast shopping spree to urge each ounce of gold they will as quick as they will. The US interest square measure holding down the worth of precious metals in a trial to fool the typical person into basic cognitive process that everything is simply fine. This manipulation is taking part in right into the hands of China as they still obtain. The amount of gold moving from London to the east is making a drain on vaults within the west, and it's solely a matter of your time before they are going empty. Once that happens, the worth of physical can skyrocket and no quantity of paper are ready to stop it. With China shopping for a lot of gold each year for the past few years and what they mine themselves, their vault square measure filling up quick. Once they need a decent quantity, they'll complete the destruction of the greenback with huge marketing of their US bonds. China has already signaled the tip of the greenback once it recently declared it'd begin invoicing all of its oil imports in renminbi. It's conjointly declared it'll now not be adding from now on foreign reserves to its holdings. This is often a sign that China can begin to make up its own class to soak up a lot of its production, even as the US did within the last century. This is often a transparent signal that the loss of reserve currency standing for the US isn't distant. As if to form a good bolder statement, China is functioning on an agreement with Republic of Nicaragua to make a canal that rivals the shipway. China is additionally talking regarding in operation their own oil forward market, which will be priced in yuan. A minimum of one-half the world organization nations have expressed interest within the endeavor. As if life weren't tough enough within the US right now, the loss of reserve currency standing can hit sort of a money tidal wave which will push Americans over the sting before they apprehend what hit them. This can cause all of our imports to extend in worth till we will now not afford them. This is often an undeniable fact that few Americans apprehend or perceive. Most prefer to faux everything are fine and keep their head within the sand to prevent any negative data from obtaining through. However, this crisis goes to run up and bite them whether or not they wish to grasp or not. This is often why such a big amount of can lose everything they need within the returning months. They will ignore reality, however, they'll not be ready to ignore the results of ignoring reality. Their square measure about to be rough times ahead, and most Americans refuse to admit it and steal onself for the worst. There has typically been somebody or some issue to step in within the past and cushion the autumn for many, however now there'll be nobody there to prevent the pain. The death of the greenback are one in all those times in life that everybody can bear in mind for several years to come back. After watching this video, you couldn't possibly believe that we aren't on the verge of experiencing the greatest depression in history, right? Look at the exponential growth in margin debt. Look at Biden pushing back forbearance on housing, kicking the can down the road. Look at the criminal over-reporting of CMBS earning reports. Look at all the hedge funds caught with their pants down illegally naked shorting the so-called meme stocks now held by millions of retail traders owning double if not triple-digit percentage of the float with their finger on the trigger. The smallest pin drop catalyst and pop, down goes the world economy. I think this bubble burst will be nothing we have ever seen before in American history, and oh boy will this ripple to the furthest ends of the earth. Gold and silver are still very cheap. Everything is in a bubble except gold and silver because gold and silver are real money. We are going to see all these bubbles deflate in terms of gold and silver. The price of stocks, real estate and cryptocurrencies are all going to come way down in terms of gold and silver. Get your gold and silver, physical coins, buy that now while you can still get it. In the future, not only are the prices going to go way up for the metal, but the premium on the coin is going to go way up in addition to that. This was the Atlantis Report. Please like, share, leave me a comment. subscribe. And please take some time to subscribe to my backup channels, I do upload videos there too. You'll find the links in the description box. You will also find a PayPal link if you want to make a donation. Thank you wholeheartedly to all those of you who have already donated. Stay safe and healthy, friends.